yeah, I would really want to ask people. Okay, I'll start alphabetically if people can hear me.
That would be a nice idea. Let's call upon random people alphabetically. Yeah, that would be really awesome.
Okay, now Sachin sir is here, so I guess we should get started.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll officially start now. So hello everyone, my name is Manan Agarwal. I and my co-host Sri Ram are the hosts for this evening, and we have a great workshop lined up for you. The name of the workshop is Anchoring Workshop with Mr. Sachin Sidra. So yeah, and it is organized by UNYC, Griffin, and Oasis. It's a collaborative effort by all of them, and I hope you all are excited for that. And let's have a great session ahead. And I would give it to Sriram to talk about
Well,
the session.
absolute. That's an absolute great initiative. And well, I can. Who of you might have seen the poster or the announcements? You can see something like the anchoring workshop. Is it right? The anchoring workshop by Mr. Sachin Sidra, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, yes,
So,
we did.
who's that, please?
It was me, Pappu Das.
Okay. Do you have any query?
No, no, no.
Okay. Sure. So, note this point. This workshop is not merely for anchors or aspiring public speakers. It's for every individual person in India. Because what anchors do, they speak. What public speakers do, they speak. And what motivational speakers do, they still speak. What's the basic concept of speaking? It's the communication. If you know how to communicate, if you know how to speak, if you are good at the art of speaking, then no one can stop you. The confidence you do, that makes everything. So, yeah, that's what we're going to learn in this workshop, the art of speaking. If you're really good at speaking, you might be the center of attraction of a whole. This might really help you. And Manan, what are your thoughts on the same?
So my thoughts are also like it aligns with yours. So it's the first step is also always like speaking up, and I already told you that that's all. That's what matters. And yeah. So
And
I would
what do you
yeah.
feel the basic idea of speaking? What's the basic step for the first step you have to do?
You should have ideas to speak, so not
Mhm.
don't do not speak like do not blabber stuff. So that is the thing,
Yeah,
like speak up consciously. That's what I would
that's really
categorize
great
it as.
one. And for myself, I feel confidence is the basic criteria. I mean, if you have confidence and if you are aware about the content you're speaking, then
Yeah,
that will be the best part.
totally. So I guess we should introduce Sachin sir because he's here, and we should get started, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Without any further ado, let's hop into the session then.
Okay.
Uh, let me let me tell you small incidents. I mean, I know about Sachin Sir ki, well, a lot of people might have seen Sachin Sir in the official Instagram handle of LPU, hosting for the celebs and all the influential people. A lot of people who are following the LPU's official Instagram page might already have recognized Sir. And this session is no different. It is also be gonna be the same enthusiastic with full of zeal and ample amount of knowledge you can get from it. And it's gonna be really interesting session. Yeah.
So yeah, Sachin. Okay. So I'll introduce Sachin sir. So Sachin sir
Yeah.
is the faculty in our in LPU, and he's the coordinator for Oasis and UNYC. He's the faculty coordinator, and he's my mentor also. Like in my like I've been just for I've been there for first year only, and he's been the best mentor I had for soft skills and other things also. So you can talk to him about literally anything, and he's the best public speaker I've ever come across in like yeah, I have come across him, and he's the best. So without further ado, I would give it to Sachin sir to speak and take the session forward. Thank you, sir, for coming also.
All right, so namaskar, sat sri akal, adab, and welcome. Welcome to the anchoring workshop. And I'm going to start with a very simple thing. The reason of starting with a simple thing is anchors don't complicate things. Anchors entertain, anchors simplify, and anchors are there to help you run through the show. Before I start, I would want my associates Manan and Sriram to take a paper and pen, because we are going to have this for 2 days. So I think Manan would recognize this activity. I've done it with them in the class, and Manan would know I always do this. I would want to know your expectations first. So ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead. Give me your expectations first. What do you expect out of the session?
Sir, undoubtedly, the building of confidence, like before having the session or seeing the session, people might lack of a bit of confidence. I hope people would be really confident while they're speaking after having the session.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
All right.
also ample amount of some vocabulary to use in cases while or some specific things which are to be used while speaking with the professionals or
Okay.
some
So,
something.
Manan, first point is building confidence. Second is vocab. That's what Sriram has said. Yes, others, guys, you can please unmute yourself and help us know what you are expecting out of the session, because your expectation is the reason that I'm here to do this workshop. So please go ahead. Either you can chat, you can type a message, and you can let us know, or you can simply, unmute your mic and tell your name and then tell your
Good
expectation.
afternoon, sir.
Good evening.
Good,
Please go ahead.
yes, sir. I'm Kuntal Gandhi Ghosh, and after completion of this session, I expect my public speaking skill will improve a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it will not improve. That I can very much be practical. It will be guided to improvement. That is sure. Because yes, of course, improving your public speaking skills is your thing. I always say this, and I am still going to say this. I am a coach. I am not a teacher. I can coach you to do the right thing. Practicing is your job. I can't, just do some magic and it's like, okay, I don't know the Harry Potter people what they say, but it's like abracadabra and now you're a public speaker. No, I can't do that. I'll give you the tips. I'll give you the things. I'll give you the skills. I'll tell you the way. You gotta walk on that on your own, right? So improvement of skill set. Manan, that's the third point. Yes. Anyone else who would like to share something? The expectations?
Hello, sir. My
Sir,
name is
hello,
Afroz
sir.
Alam.
One by one. I think the gentleman gets to speak first because he started first. Yes, sir. I lost your name. Could you please give me your name again?
Yes, sir. My name is Afroz Alam, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a second year student of BTech in CSE. And I am excited. I have joined first in my first workshop. That is, this is the workshop that I have first joined, and I want to improve my anchoring, and I want to improve my fluency. That you can guide me. So that is this.
Definitely, we'll work on that. So guidance on how to be a good anchor. Of course, yes, I'm going to do that. I never know. I've never seen myself anchoring at all. I've never seen a single recording of my own self, and I don't know what people like in my anchoring. But the fact is, since you guys like it so much, I would take it with joined hands. That yes, thank you so much for liking my anchoring, and anything. Yes, who was the lady who was speaking? I'm sorry. I had a female voice also with a froze. Who was that?
Yeah, hello, sir. Avantika this side.
Yes, Avantika.
So, hello, sir. A very warm good evening, first of all. Okay, so I was very excited for this session because I was literally asking everyone to please conduct this workshop because we really want this. And we have heard a lot from our seniors. This workshop is very amazing and it literally changes a lot in you. And I'm really looking forward for this.
That's great. All right. So, what are your expectations, Avantika?
I am expecting that maybe after this workshop, I will be able to continuously, with confidence, able to speak about random things. Like if this is going in today's life, and I have to
Mhm.
host a session. But
Mhm.
sometimes those words don't come out of my mouth with the amount of confidence I have in normal life, but that doesn't come on camera. So
Mhm.
I want that, which I definitely see in you. So I'm looking forward for that and lots of things too. The kind of posture you have, the smile. I don't know how people say smile, which I really want to learn. So yeah, these are my expectations.
All right, chalo. So expressions and the right word at the right place. That's what you said. Those are very
Good evening,
important points, definitely. Yeah, good evening. Who's that?
sir. This side Avneet.
Yes, Avneet.
Sir, the basic motto, like what I have to learn is basically that whenever we try to go for anchoring, so the first 5 minutes, like that are the most, most common, and that have to be most good ones. So
Mm-hmm.
how to we all get nervous in those 5 minutes only, and due to that, somewhere our impression gets wrong over there for the guest. So how to
Mm-hmm.
improve that particular thing?
Okay. So it's just like the start. You're talking about the start, right?
Yes, sir.
So yes, we are going to talk about that. And anyone else would like to add something?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. The lady was the first person to speak this time. Then I'll come to the
Oh,
gentleman. So please, who's that?
okay, good
good
evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
This is Shruti Gupta this side from BSc
Oh,
Agriculture Honors.
okay.
And so basically, my expectation from this workshop is that I want to, learn the different styles of anchoring. Like we have the formal, informal, and the semi-formal. So learning the nuances and the differences between them, and the creativity, like how can we invite the speakers in a creative way and better my anchoring skills.
All right. So formal, informal, and semi-formal, all three forms you want to learn. That's a very good thing. And I like the kind of thought process you've brought into this because yes, not many people think about formal, informal, and semi-formal, all three of them. But yes, good. Thank you so much, Shruti. Yes, I had another female voice before.
Yes, sir. Good
Yes.
evening,
Who's
sir.
that? Good evening.
So this is
Simran.
Simran this side.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Simran, go ahead.
Sir, firstly, thank you so much for conducting this workshop. Because of you, I'm able to speak right now. Sir, the thing is that I'm super shy to speak in front of people. Though I was in district level debate competition, but you know, when you go on stage, you get conscious and you get shy and you're not able to speak. So
Mm-hmm.
that fear again is like interrupting me to come in front of stage. So sir, I think because of your help, I can just like go through all these things. I can walk, as you said that you are the coach. So I'm ready to get into it.
All right, fine. So Simran, you are talking about again confidence building and bringing back the old charm that you already had. So okay, yes, we can do that. Yes, now that there was a male voice, I think
Yes,
it
sir. Good
was
evening, sir. Rishabh
yes,
this side.
Rishabh. Go
Uh,
ahead.
Sir, first of all, developing my skill with the very well-known and highly skilled faculty is enough for me. And sir, secondly, the basics of fluency and the body language is
Mm-hmm,
the main part. I feel like so that
mm-hmm.
we can enhance that, and it will be helpful in interview as well.
Yes, definitely. Why not?
Sir, I'd like to add something here.
Yes, go ahead, Shriram.
Sir, actually, I personally face this a lot of times. That is influence of mother tongue while speaking. That's the major
Mm,
issue. One of the major issue I personally face it, and the second one is fillers. Like
mm.
like these type of words. When you are supposed to speak for long hours, these type of words repeatedly come to our mind. How to overcome that? That's the major one of second major issue I face.
Right. So fillers and mother tongue influence. These are the last 2 points that Sriram has just added. So I think Manan, we have over 20 points now, around 20.
Sir, from what I have written is it's 8.
8. Okay, so you
Yeah,
have broadly characterized them. Chalo,
yeah, I
theek
have
hai,
broadly
not an issue.
characterized it.
Not an issue. These 8 points would be our sign of infinity for the learning over here. So it's 8, the inverted 8. Okay, so we are going to start talking about what we are here. first things first, can you see my presentation, guys? I don't know if you guys can see the presentation.
Yes, sir. It's
So the welcome board is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the presentation. Yes. So we're going to talk about the art of anchoring. Now, the art of anchoring is nothing but the this word anchoring. Where does it come from? Let's go to the shipping, ports. How does a ship stand tall in the waves of the sea? We see the ship standing so calm, so composed. How do they stand so calm and composed?
Hello, sir.
Anyone? Yes.
Sir, with the help of an anchor.
Exactly, Ashman, and very well done. With the help of an anchor. So that's what the word inspires the stage handlers or the masters of ceremony, as they are traditionally called. We call them anchor in this day, but usually or traditionally the name is master of ceremony, MOC, right? And why do you call these people the master of ceremony? Why? Because they are coordinating everything, standing in one place or sometimes moving around the entire corridor. They are managing everything around them. And that's the speciality about this master of ceremony. And let me just tell you a small thing that you would already know, that apart from the chief guest, if someone has the maximum attention of the audience, it's the master of ceremony. You know, every time someone goes off the stage, someone comes on the stage, the voice that would echo in the minds and the ears of the audience is the master of ceremony. And before I even start, before I even just tell you anything about how to be the master of ceremony, I want you to imagine standing on this stage and look at all the people in the audience. Imagine yourself standing there. Look deep into that picture. Imagine you're standing on that stage. The crowd is cheering, mad crowd. And it's so full, the entire stadium. Every corner that you see a soul, or you see a human standing there. Lights blazing into your eyes. People going mad after the person who's going to come and perform. But before the person comes and performs, you're the one who's going to go make the entire scene come to them, or who's going to give the entire build up. Just imagine, look into that screen for some time, breathe in that atmosphere. I want you guys to look into that screen and I want you to breathe in that atmosphere, and then one by one start telling me how you feel. How do you feel?
So at this particular instance, I might feel nervous as such because I didn't have got this much crowd as such till now.
Sir, I'm getting a feeling that I have a huge responsibility on my shoulder, that I have to carry this until the main person, the main performer is there. I have to handle everything. I feel like a sense of responsibility.
Okay, that's great. But
Actually,
yes, please go ahead. Whosoever is
I
speaking.
feel like I'm owning the stage, and I'm totally enjoying. And as you just hyped it up so much that you own everything and like you're the master. So I feel like the most superior one right now if I am over there. So I'll be like the happiest and the most confident person over there if I'll be getting this much of things.
That's great.
So,
That's very
so for
nice.
me,
Yes.
I feel like I'm standing on a huge platform where all the eyes are on me. So I should not get anything wrong because I should be perfect with anything that I say. And because I cannot make a single mistake because everyone is looking at me.
Very good. Not a single
Sir,
mistake.
I would like to add something. I the way that you explained, I am really feeling that I would feel the ground shaking because of all these people. That would shake my mind also.
Yes, you feel
This
the
actually
vibration.
make me feel so sad because it reminds me of the events we conducted offline before this lockdown and all these unprecedented times happened.
Yes, definitely.
If am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so hello, sir. This side Ananya.
Mm-hmm.
So if I share my feeling right now, so I would say that I have the same feeling which I had when I was in school and I did debates and all those things, and I just had same kind of a crowd, not this much, but there was so much people sitting on the chairs, and I was standing on the stage and looking at them, all of them, and that feeling was kind of a mixed feeling where I feel confident and nervous at the same time. So yeah, I'm having the same feeling right now.
Yes, that's right. That's very much
Sir,
right. Yes.
sir, this is Simran this side again. And
Yes,
sir,
Simran.
honestly speaking, I feel like a stardom. I feel like that they are my audience and they want me. Like I owe something to them. That is what I'm feeling right now. So this is so special.
All right. So someone is feeling emotional, someone is feeling overwhelmed, someone is feeling special, someone is feeling the vibe, but everybody is having some feelings. And no one here can say that, I actually have no feelings in my mind right now. I'm just looking at the crowd, dazed, totally blank. And that's a good thing. Because if that makes you blank, then we have to go to the basics and we have to start with the very small thing. And the biggest problem with looking towards the crowd is not that we are looking at a lot of people. The biggest problem of looking at the crowd for anybody who stands on the stage is the stares. The stares that they get. People get scared of those stares, those million eyes looking at you. People get afraid of that. And the secret of overcoming that is you should have the ability to look dead into your eyes while you say something standing in front of a mirror. And I'll give you this tip. It's a life hack. It's not a tip. It's a life hack. Whenever you're feeling underconfident, find a washroom with a mirror. Stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes, dead into your own eyes, not at your face, not at your forehead, not at your nose, not at your expressions. Look dead into your eyes and speak what you have to speak. And if you are able to speak without a stutter, without a single stammer, without a single filler, that's confidence at the palladium best of it. There is nothing better than that. And I'll just tell you a small story of someone. So, you all have seen the pictures at least of the Shanti Devi Mittal Auditorium, right? Pictures at least, everyone. So, some of you must have seen the auditorium as well. 2200 plus seats, okay? Huge, humongous. When all these chairs get filled and the balcony above gets filled, it's a sight to watch. Now just imagine a 7-year-old child standing center of the stage, looking at that huge crowd. And he has to speak a 5-minute dialogue. 5-minute dialogue. 5 minutes is a huge time. And for a 7-year-old, it's a lifetime on a stage. 5-minute dialogue, which is a conversation with other actors who are not facing the stage, who are either sitting on the side and have the audience either on the left or the right, and this guy is facing the audience. Now imagine yourself to be that 7-year-old kid and tell me, how do you feel? Anyone who's nervous now?
Yeah, I would feel terrified.
I am extremely excited.
I
Okay,
would feel
excited.
judged.
I will be
Okay,
very confident and excited. I will
very
only
good.
listen to the question and answer it quickly.
Yes, I also
Yes.
feel confident.
Yes,
Yes.
as for me, at that age, I didn't even have that feeling of being so conscious. I even have the same story. When I was 5 years old, I just, in a meeting, I took up the mic and started speaking a joke. As even when my parents were calling me down, I went on the stage. That time, I didn't have the feeling of being shy.
Now the story, the exact story why I was telling you this was to bring that child out in you. The reason we get underconfident, the reason we get nervous, the reason we feel that, oh, people might laugh at me, someone is smiling at me, someone is passing jokes about me, this comes to us because we are conscious. To let yourself be the best of you, stop thinking about what the world has to say, because the world has one unpaid job which they love to do, and that is to say something. Stop listening to people who don't matter. You know, I always tell myself, and this was told to be my teachers, that when you're up there and there are people sitting down and someone is saying something about you, someone is passing a comment on you, you should not listen because you are better than them, that's why you are up there. And tell yourself, just because they can't be there, that's why they're speaking about me. So let them speak. Stop getting conscious, people. You guys have the content, you guys have everything prepared, but still you get nervous because you have this feeling, oh, I am being judged. And that's not important. That's actually not important. People are going to judge you. You know, I'll just be very honest. I'm a very conscious dresser. I don't like to experiment too much with my dressing, and people who know me for over a year would know that, right? Whenever it comes to trying something new, I would spend hours and hours inside a trial room looking at my own self, front, back, this, that, every way. And 5-10 people I'll ask, okay, am I looking good? Am I looking good? Am I looking good? So that is sometimes embarrassing for my own self, but I always tell myself when I'm on the stage that it doesn't matter. Even if someone puts me on the stage with a weird dress, what could be the weirdest of weird? Wearing a costume, any kind of funny costume, I'll be the most confident on the stage. Why? Because when I'm on the stage, I don't care about what people are judging about me. If they are laughing at me, at least they are looking at me. That's my way of thinking. And when I have their attention, I can control them. That's what I've learned over the period of years that I've been on the stage. And just like that child in you who will not be afraid of 2200, 2500 people, for him or for her, it's just the stage, the actor sitting in front of him, he has to do a conversation and he's doing it. That's what you should go on. And whosoever out of you desires to be on the stage, I'll give you a very simple karma based statement. Respect the stage, and the stage will respect you. Now, when I say respect the stage, it means respect the place, that physical place called the stage. And yes, it will respect you. Respect the people on that stage, the stage will respect you. I'll be very honest, I am by far, right now in this meeting, I can tell you people with utter confidence, I am by far the naughtiest one who's right now in this meeting. I am the walking impersonation of mischief when it comes to me not being on the stage. But when someone is on the stage and someone is speaking, I would never disrespect that person. Why? because I understand that someday I'll be on the stage and karma is going to come biting my back and I'll not feel good about it. So, yes, I'll do the mistake. I will do the mischief. I'll do the naughtiness.
Did I know someday when I'll be on stage, karma will get back to me?
Yes, Rishika. Okay, that was Rishika. Her mic was unmuted. That's okay, beta. That's okay. That's okay. So I'll tell you one thing very good. Respect the stage, respect the podium, and respect the responsibility. It will always respect you back. That's very important. Okay. Now this is something that I would say on a note where I say this is like your ground rule. Respect the stage. But when you are in the fight, when you are preparing for the fight, these are the 3 golden rules that you see on the screen right now. The first one, plan. The second one, prepare. And the third one, perform. If you think being an anchor is very easy, I'm sorry to disappoint you. If it was easy, anybody would have done that. If you think being a public speaker is very easy, no, it's not. There are some things that we call prerequisites of being an anchor and a public speaker. And the first prerequisite is they always have a plan. And in order to have that plan, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to prepare. I'm going to talk about the preparation today. My major focus is going to be the preparation today, because once the preparation is right, there is nothing that can stop you from being successful. And the biggest problem that anyone in the world would come across while being on the stage is lack of preparation. How many of you have heard that story of Samsung's OLED TV being launched? Has anyone heard that? I'll tell you that
Yes,
story.
sir.
Yeah, Shruti, you've heard that? Okay, so it's a very interesting story. So Samsung was launching its OLED TV and they decided that the chief technology officer and the vice president of the company is going to bring that technology to public by officially launching it, because it was his brainchild to launch an OLED TV, right? Oval LED TV. OLED stands for Oval LED. So this gentleman, he was the CTO, Chief Technology Officer. He was told that by the managing director of Samsung that, gentleman, you're going to do this in Los Angeles, and it's in the biggest place, the biggest hotel of Los Angeles where this launch is going to happen. Super excited. That guy was on the top of the world. And in that excitement, he took care of everything but his own script. And he thought he could read the teleprompter, which was there in front of him. The day arrived, he started. He was looking at the teleprompter. So on the camera, it seemed as if he was looking at people, but actually he was not looking at people. He was looking only at the teleprompter. And after some times, when the teleprompter increased the speed, he lost the track. And there was a blank out. Just behind the stage, the only person representing Samsung behind the stage was the executive assistant to the vice president or the CTO, who was a part of that project as well. And when this guy blanked out, there was a message that was sent, because it was a hi-fi presentation. So there is always, the people are wearing those headpieces that, oh, he's blanking out, send someone in, send in the artillery or send in the refreshments. So immediately the anchor was changed and this executive assistant was pushed on the stage. And this executive assistant was the person who planned the entire presentation. And he came, he took over. And he made it look so simple. And what just happened? Overnight, Samsung declared that person as the new CTO and had him in the press conference after the presentation. So a guy lost $1 million job, and the other one who was being paid peanuts suddenly got that $1 million job without an interview, just for saving the face of the company. That's the power of preparation. If you prepare, and preparation doesn't always mean writing page full of scripts. It does not always mean you have practiced over 10 hours, 20 hours. No, it's in here. Are you prepared in here? Are you ready? Are you having the outline here? Are you having the flow of the entire presentation here? If yes, you can do it well. If not, nothing can save you, not even God. Right? So my very first point of today is content is king. Before you want to go on the stage, before you want to stand on the stage and act like the best of the anchors that you have seen, before you want to go on the stage and look at those people clapping for you, smiling at you, laughing at you, giving you good or bad stares, sitting on those chairs or standing in the audience, you have to prepare. You have to prepare what? You have to prepare your content. And content is for what? The content is very simply the backbone of your entire speech, the backbone of your entire anchoring, the backbone of your entire presentation. Content is the king. There is nothing more than a content. And if you think if someone can surpass this stage and go directly on saying, okay, I'm going to go extempore, people do that. I am one of them. If you ask me, where is your script? I say, I don't have one. I show people my hands. This is my script. And they're like, are you mad? And I just tell them, I'm natural. I'm born as an anchor, I'm a natural one. But the reality is the script is here. And why is the script here? And how did the script get here? I'll tell you the secret. The first time I took on the stage as a master of ceremony, I had 92 pages of script because I was anchoring for the entire day. Single-handedly. 92 pages. 17 events, 5 felicitations, and 16 guest introductions. That totaled up to 92 pages of script. And half of the time I was looking down. And my teacher who gave me that job had given me the script 3 days prior. I was not a very good learner actually. So I did not learn the script. And my teacher was utterly disappointed. And I'm talking about school. I was in 6th or 7th. After the entire day ended, I went down. I was very nervous because my teacher's expression were visible. She was just standing next to me. So I said, Aaj to I'm going to be screwed. I'm going to be royally taking a beating from this woman sitting next to the stage. I went down and she looked at me like this. And she was looking at me when my vice principal came from behind and she just patted my back and she said, wonderful. And we all were surprised because my vice principal was given a nickname of Gabbar by her juniors only, not leave alone students. And she comes in and she says, wonderful. I was like, thank you, ma'am. And she said, how many pages did you read today, child? I said, ma'am, about 92. And she looked at my teacher and she said, 92 pages and this child did not fumble. Do you imagine what you can do with him? And my teacher realized it then that yes, It was 92 pages of written script that I had read and not a single fumble in the entire day. And how did I get it? I'll tell you. I have learned my anchoring, nothing very formally. I was never formally trained. I am not a formally trained anchor. I learned my anchoring from practicing stupid things, and you will call it stupid when you hear what I say. I started practicing dialogues from movies. How many of you do that? Good. Good. I'll give you a hint. Go and watch Rocky 6 today. The movie is available, and the scene is particularly available on YouTube. One of my favorite scenes. So there's a scene in that, and in that Sylvester Stallone says to his son, standing outside his restaurant, you know, you used to fit in this palm, and I'd hold you up like this, and I'd say, this kid is going to be the best kid in the world. And there is a dialogue in that where he says, the life is not always sunshine and rainbows. It's a mean world out there. And it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and still keep moving forward. These are the things that I've practiced from being a child. Starting from our own Hindi movies, I used to practice the Amitabh Bachchan's dialogues, the, all those dialogues. And do you realize that I was just what, 13 years old? And I had a control over my voice and its modulation, thanks to those dialogue practices. The main part of an anchor's role is the voice that they present. And how do you present those words that effectively, that make a dent in the mind of the listeners, and that's your biggest preparation. You can write 100, 200, 500 words of script, but if you don't know how to give that script in the correct manner, it's not of use. It's not of use. And eventually, my teacher did not realize it, how I got it. But, you know, my sister, in one of the parent-teacher meetings where I was being praised for my anchoring, not my marks at all, my sister said, हाँ तो मैम और क्या करेगा? सारा दिन पिक्चरों के डायलॉग बोलता है, बोल तो अच्छा लेगा ही ना. That what else he is going to do? All day he does this, standing in front of the mirror, he is giving dialogue deliveries. And my teacher realized that, and she said, so you, I would want you to participate in drama then. So that's how my portfolio expanded from an anchor to an actor. And when I went into acting, my drama teacher taught me the voice modulation basics again. He said, these are the various emotions that you portray, and this is how you are going to speak. And as a kid, I never realized, I loved to play characters a lot, and I started picking voice modulations very well. So that is the first thing about an anchor. It's not about your voice is sharp, your voice is husky, your voice is blunt, your voice is loud. Your voice is not loud. The way you present it makes a difference. So first point is make your content, and reading that 92 pages of content for me was an uphill task. I could do it. That was the grace of God. But the next time I got a content, I learned most of the content. And after having the content here, at least in bits and pieces, only the page was a reference material. And let me tell you, if this was my content, my entire finger used to go like this every time I was reading something, but not looking over there. I used to look at the audience, and every once in a while I used to look down and locate the word which I was at, and I used to keep my finger on it to know that, okay, I am here and I have to pick it up from here. That is the practice that you need to have. That's the prep that you need to give. People say you should have a hold on your content. Arey Baba, hold on your content in what sort? No one tells that. The hold on the content is, even if you're paused, even if you're stopped, even if you're broken in the flow, you can always come back to the content. That's the flow you got to have. That's the hold that you got to have on the content. And I have Manan here. I would have others also who are here, who have been in the class with me. I've never prepared a lecture. Trust me, I've never had notes in front of me. I never did, and I never do. But what I do is I read. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of things. I don't read pages on pages. I don't read thesis. No, sorry, I'm not the research guy. But I listen to things and I remember them. My listening is very avid, and that's my biggest thing. And I thank my trainers to develop that in me, because someone in the world said, if you got to be an efficient speaker, you've got to be a very efficient listener. You want to speak, you want people to listen to you, first start listening to people. Because sometimes you will get a very good style of speaking from someone. Sometimes you will get very good content of speaking from someone. And all that clubbed together can make you an efficient speaker. Why not? You don't have to read every book on the internet to be a knowledgeable person. You just have to listen to a few knowledgeable ones. Because you don't have to write a book. You have to speak for some minutes. And you just need some snippets. That's all. Right? And once you guys are very confident with your content, only then you can start a little bit of show off. Yes, you must do a little bit of show off. I'd never say be the humblest in the room. No, people take advantage of your humility. Don't be the humblest in the room. Sometimes you got to show off a little bit, which I usually do when people ask me, where is your script? And I tell them it's here. I'll just tell you a secret. I always have 4 pages of script in my pocket. I don't take it out whenever I'm on stage. I only take it out when I feel that, oh, I'm skipping things, I'm missing things. And over the years of anchoring, being on the stage, I've learned this thing, that if you are concentrating on what you're going to go and do, you will never forget a thing. Only when your mind is distracted, there is a chance you might forget things. And that happens. That happens to everyone. I am not an exception to it. You guys will not be an exception to it. Right? But let us be very honest. Content, first stage where you guys are right now, I'd call you beginners. Okay? I'd call you beginners because now you're going to go on self-driven anchoring. You will not have those teachers, hand holders behind you to say, okay, go and do it. If anything goes wrong, come to the backstage. I'll tell you what to do. You'll be on your own. So it's self-propelled anchoring that you're going to do. So for that, you need to have content in place first. So start writing your own scripts. Number 2. If you think you are going to read if you write the entire script, make cue cards. Have you seen those anchors on television? They carry some cards like this. Those are cue cards. What is written in there is 5 points on each card. On each card, there are 5 points. So they are given those cards, they read that card and then say, all right, so ladies and gentlemen, the next one here. And what they do is, they practice those cue cards description beforehand. That's important. I have Akshita raising a hand. Akshita, you got a question? Please go ahead. Unmute yourself. You can ask.
Yes, sir. So I have a question that, is it important to practice or is it important to perform to improve your skill?
Before I answer your question, Akshita, can I ask you a question again?
Yes, sir.
Is it important for Virat Kohli to play matches, or is it important for Virat Kohli to be in the nets?
I got my answer.
Yeah, that's very good. So practice is not going to be replaceable with you performing. Performance is once in a while. Practice is every day.
If I
Okay.
got an if I got an opportunity to perform every day, so I have to take time for I can say practice also, or I directly perform.
See, kid, the fact is if you are performing every day, then you don't need to have those practice every day separately. Mentally only you can imagine things and you can practice it out. Okay. Like I'll just give you a small example. We as teachers, and I'm not just talking about myself, I talk about the fraternity, entire set of teachers that you have. We don't sit in front of a mirror every day and we practice our lectures with you people. No, we don't. We know what we have to do. We are like anchors in the class only. We are running the show. But what do? We mentally prepare for it. That okay, I have to talk about this. Okay, so these are the basics. And then I'm going to go to this. This is my presentation. So I'll look at my slides, 7-10 pictures that I have put on PPT, and I'm going to speak on my own. But I have mentally practiced it. So that's okay. Right? But once in a while, you come across one very important anchoring. Make sure you at least spend 10 minutes with yourself, telling yourself what to do.
Yes.
That's your practice.
Okay.
But one golden rule, Akshita, and that's for everyone, not just Akshita. Content is going to be prepared every time. You prepare it mentally, you prepare it on paper, that's your choice. But content has to be prepared.
If I go sometimes out of words, or I can say I out of vocab in speaking in front of people, so what can I do? I was not prepared for those words, so what can I do at that time?
Why do you want to experiment with new words on the stage? Don't. Never. Repeat words, that's okay. Don't experiment on the stage. Experiment before you go to the stage.
If I go out of words, out of vocab, out of everything, if I don't have words to speak out, if someone is in between my speech, or in between my anchoring, hosting type of, if I go out of words, sometimes it happens that I went out of words. So what I have to do? Because at that time my eyes are down and I am just scrolling my mind that what I have to speak.
All right. The very first thing, if someone interrupts you, like this happens with us a lot of times, and let me just take your own example. I saw your hand raise over here. I immediately addressed you, right?
Yes.
Now, what happened here is I had a very golden chance. I could have ignored. You never would know that I have ignored, or I have actually not seen your hand raised. But I did not do that. I immediately took the question. Why? Because I know that if I don't attend to you, I might have you disconnected from here. Mentally, not physically. You might listen to my entire session, but mentally you'll be disconnected because I didn't answer your query. And I don't want that. So as an anchor, your role is, if someone interrupts you, first you converse with them. And while you are conversing with them, in the back of your mind, keep reminding yourself you have to come back to this place again.
Okay.
Right? That's the multitasking that we have to do as an anchor.
That's a golden tip for me.
Yeah, of course, yes, better. We have to juggle between things. Anchoring is not easy because of this reason only. You don't know who comes out of this audience and says, "Arey, I want to talk about this," and you're like, "No, you can't talk. I'm talking. Please sit down." You can't say that to them. You have to listen to them. Yes, please, most welcome. Please come on the stage. Have a word with me. You have to tell them that. Right? So that is very important. Okay. So I hope I answered your query, Akshita.
Yes, it's totally resolved.
Great. Yes. I have one hand raised again. Prachi Reel. It's Priyanka or Prachi?
It's a good evening. Prachi sir, her sister.
Okay. I got confused with you between you and your sister. Yes, Prachi, please go ahead.
So I want to ask that sometimes it's like you have everything in your mind, like you have what to say and all the feelings you have in your mind, but it doesn't come to your mouth. Like we keep on doing, sir, this, and we don't know the exact word we how we express the thing. What should we do that time?
See, Mark Twain has said a very beautiful thing. The difference between the almost right word and the right word is huge. Huge. Because the almost right word will always be having some sort of error, and that's why it is almost right. And the right word is the right word. Right? So I'm a fan of Mark Twain, and I follow him over here also. With anchors, with speakers, I always tell them this one thing. You will forget words. It's nothing it's not a crime to forget words on stage. But you should have that quick processing ability to find a synonym and then get back to the original word that you wanted to say. Right? Like, I'll give you an example here. I was recently interviewing Anna Hazare on, I guess yesterday, the day before yesterday. So I had this thought in my mind. I'll say this sentence to him before asking the next question. So इस series को आगे बढ़ाते हुए, taking forward the series of questions, and I could not locate the word Shrankhala, which is the Hindi synonym of series, Shrankhala. It took me 42 minutes. And by the time I was still talking to him, I asked him 3 questions. He answered 3 questions. I lost his connection 3-4 times in between. 42 minutes, I was thinking of that word. And 42nd minute, when that word struck into my mind, I used it. So back of the mind, the processing was on. But I was using the words that were on the tip of my tongue. I was using all the words that I could. First, this is the golden rule. Don't try to experiment with new words. If you want to, then before you go to that word, use all the words that are on the tip of your tongue first. That means your most commonly used words. And then bring out one big, dhamakedar word, or the, blast out word that you can bring out. I'll tell you, usually people don't speak that sort of Hindi even in the anchorings these days. But I used the word, and I was complimented by the other guest on the show that day. He said, your command in Hindi is too good. If I can get that much, I'll be really happy. And I was thinking that, no man, you have not heard me speak. I was way better than this. This was not my best Hindi. Yes, Khushi, you have a question. Please go ahead. Khushi
Yes,
Garg has
sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
All right, sir. I have a question. Like when we are very used to with the topic, like we know the topic very much, and have something to speak on it. But the topic like we are not frank with, then how can we prepare with the topic? Like if we have nothing to speak, but just we have script and we have to cram that. So that is the problem only we got during that point of time.
There'll always be something like this, Khushi, because anchors cannot be knowledgeable about everything in the world, but they have to present about everything in the world. Right? Now, let's take the example of news anchors here. Do you think news anchors actually understand economy? They don't. They just don't.
Exactly.
But they would use so many terms. आर्थिक स्थिति और रुपए के गिरती हुई वैल्यू और रुपए का ये और रुपए का वो और हमारे आदान प्रदान import export whatever they say. Do you think they actually understand that? No, but how confidently do they present? It's always about preparation. You don't know about a topic, research. Research is your biggest and the strongest and the most timeless weapon that you have. Research will never put you down, and research will never abandon you. Research about the topics, research about the guests. If you are interviewing someone, this is my very first rule. If you are interviewing someone and you don't know about the person, there is a 98% chance you are going to mess up that interview. 98% chance.
Yes,
But
sir.
if
That means the knowledge is must. First of all, we have to grab the knowledge, everything which is possible on the topic.
not the detailed or the expert level knowledge, basic, just the basic, right? I'll be very honest. Recently I interviewed who? Trida Chaudhary. Yeah, Trida Chaudhary it was. So actually speaking, I've only seen one web series where Trida Chaudhary was a character in the show. I never have seen her, but yeah, I've a lot of times my Instagram showed suggestions, follow her, follow her, follow her. So I started following her 2 days before I had to interview her, and I spent about 30 minutes on her Instagram profile, and I did a little bit of Wikipedia research on her, and I did the interview. 45 minutes of research on one person for a 1 hour interview. Done. And I actually did not know anything much about her. But I had the basic of knowledge, what she has done. So I knew she had done Telugu movies, I knew she had done Bengali movies, I knew she had done Hindi shows and all. And I knew her most famous web series was Bandish Bandits. And one night before I had to interview her, before sleeping, I saw 2-3 scenes where Trida Chaudhary was in Bandish Bandits, and I liked that series. So I commented that, it's one of my most favorite, and I'm watching it right now. I'm done with the show, but I'm watching it right now. And Manan is really surprised. He said, "Arey sir, मेरे को तो लग रहा था आपने देख ली होगी."
Sir, I was in the session and I wrote an article on it. So now I'm like, I should have written it.
So, what is the reason? It's all about your research. And as an anchor, that's a very good question that has come up. If you don't know about the topic, research. As a public speaker, I don't know anything about it, research. And there are 2 golden rules for public speaking that I would want to give you, and those are idea generation techniques. I am sure if you guys have studied soft skills at LPU, you must have heard about these idea generation techniques. If not, then note it now. The first one is SPELT, S-P-E-L-T. Social, political, economical, legal, and technical. 6 different SPELT, 5 different ideas about a topic. SPELT. And if some places you feel SPELT is failing, then it is 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, when, why, where, and how. So 5 W's and 1 H. That's how you analyze the topic. You research on the basis of this, and you get enough to ask.
Exactly.
Sir, can you please repeat SPELT?
SPELT is social, political, economic, legal, and technical. You guys have learned these techniques, but the difference is you guys have learned these techniques in terms of what you say. You guys have learned these techniques in terms of GD techniques, right? So these are not just GD techniques. These are actually techniques that help you in generating ideas about speaking about things. These are idea generation techniques, and use these techniques. Simple brainstorming is always what you do. I did not use that technique here because for brainstorming also you should have the raw material here. If you don't have the raw material, what is the point of brainstorming? Right? So try to use these things and you will get enough content all the time as a public speaker. But as an anchor, your research has to go deep, because you should know, you should have the confidence over the thing that you're presenting. That's very important for you. Okay. Now let's move further. How many of you agree with this? Give me a hand raise if you agree with this. Good. I'm getting a lot of hand raises here. That's nice. Good, good, good. That's really nice. So if you start with a bang, you never end in a whimper, and that's the truth. And why am I saying that? Because believe me, I've spoiled my presentations in the past where I've not started with a bang. So I had someone asking me a question about formal, semi-formal and casual presentations, right? So usually what do? We get the chance of anchoring formally first. So we get the chances in our schools, in our colleges. So what do we start with? Good morning, everyone. My name is Sachin Sidra and I'm going to be your anchor and your host for today. Or, we get to anchor in some fest of our school where we say, good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome my principal, the director of the school, the vice principal, the HODs, the XYZ, everyone. And last but not the least, the students of the school. That's the only thing that you do. But you come out in a casual event, you can't start with good afternoon everyone or good evening everyone. They'll be like, theek hai, okay, what's the big deal? Because people are not in that kind of formal mood. They are there in the celebrative mood. So you got to come out on the stage and say, hello everyone, how are you? Add to the energy. And then people sway to your energy. That's the difference. And that's what you should be realizing. What kind of a stage handling are you getting, or master of ceremony are you? What kind of a place it is, and what are you going to do to enter with a bang? Now you'll say, sir, I'm not the chief guest. Why should I enter with a bang? You should enter with a bang because you are more important than the chief guest. The chief guest would take the stage for 5 minutes. You're there for the entire. Who do you want to be in focus? And
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you said like you should start with a bang, just like what radio jockeys do. Like whenever they start a program, they start with a very loud "Good evening, everyone" or something like that. We have to start like that. If that
You
works.
can be doing anything. I'll tell you. It's a formal event. Now you can't come on the stage and say, "Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashman." No, you can't do that. So when you're coming for a formal event, you have to start with, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good afternoon to all of you. My name is Sachin Sidra and I'm your host for the day. That's a formal one. Semi-formal. Hello everyone. My name is Sachin Sidra and welcome to the presentation saga. Whatever it is. What is the name of the event is. Semi-formal. Casual, you can do anything you want. Good evening, hello, kya bol rahi public and all that. Whatever you want to do. That's casual. So you can do anything. Right? All you have to do is from the word go. That means from the first word that comes out of your mouth, you have to start connecting with the audience. That's the reason we say start with a bang. Now I'll tell you a very small thing that I usually practice in the classes. I make sure that when I switch on the class on my class, as in when the first student comes, I say good morning or I wish the first student myself. And I keep wishing everyone that way. So people get added, I keep wishing them. And first 5-10 minutes in my class go for wishing only. And people often think that what am I doing? Sometimes my own evaluators who are sitting beforehand in the class, they ask me, why do you wish every student? I tell them that's my way of working. You wanna deduct my marks for it? Go ahead, do it. I'm not asking you not to. They said, no, we can't because the students get connected to you. I said, so then be happy about it. What's your problem?
So actually they pay more attention towards the whole lecture.
That's what I am doing. I want them to pay attention from the first word that I speak to the last word that I will be speaking. And the best way I find is say good morning to everyone. I tell you, when I started doing freelance sessions on soft skills, I used to go to various colleges and schools and I used to do soft skill sessions. So what I used to do is, if my session starts at 9 o'clock, 8:30 I used to be on the venue and I used to stand at the entrance. And what I used to do is, I used to wish everyone who used to come into that auditorium or into that room, good morning on my own. And people used to be surprised, and sometimes people actually used to think so that I'm the second fiddle or I'm the sidekick to the main presenter. And then once the entire auditorium or the room used to be full, I used to take out my mic and I used to wear it. Sometimes it used to be this one, sometimes it used to be on the overhead mic. And then I used to climb the stage and I used to say, so we all have met, haven't we? And then they used to be like, Arey yaar, he was standing on the door, wishing us like a host. And he's a presenter. So people used to connect with me. Why? Because that formality was broken. That I'm a sir. And they used to ask me questions. Sometimes I used to get so stupid questions and people used to laugh. And I used to laugh with them. Sometimes people actually used to ask me questions. Sir, I want to ask you, are formals very uncomfortable to wear? And I used to look at them and I used to look at me. Do I look uncomfortable? So they used to start laughing again. Yes, Astha, that was Astha Singh who had raised a hand. I'm so sorry. I missed it. Did I? Okay. So this is very important for all of us to understand. Yes, Astha Singh, you have raised a hand. Please go ahead. Ask me the question.
Good evening, sir. Sorry, it's by mistake. I'm really sorry.
Not an issue, beta. Not an issue at all. All right. So now what is the challenge with all these things? The challenge is if I'm not starting with a bang, I'm not creating a dent in my audience mind from the very first go word, then I've lost them. And I'll not be able to connect with them even if I try very hard after that. Okay? That's very important. So always start with a bang. And you won't ever end in a whimper.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Sir, a lot of people do suggest to start with a caption or a poetry or something which attracts the public. What are your view on it? I mean, do you suggest that or?
You can try that once in a while. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, don't just make yourself a cliche by using one technique all the time. All right. I'll just give you a very small example. It reminds me of one of my colleagues. He had a habit to start with a line of poetry or two every time. So what happened is we were the constant anchors of the school. So every time people used to see him on the mic, the students sitting in the audience used to start doing wah 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 wah. And he at one point decided to quit, doing anchoring. He said, I'll go on the stage and they start doing wah wah. Am I doing a mushaira here? I said, you do it every time. That's why they are doing it. You walked into that one. And then he stopped doing it. So in order to help him, that people should not make fun of him, we both decided to go on the stage together. And people used to look at him and they used to do wah 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 wah. And I used to say, I'm so sorry to disappoint you people, but he's not going to say a share here today. I've already taken it off his script. And they used to start laughing. And then I used to say, okay, now they've stopped, please start speaking. So this is the spontaneity that we need as an anchor. And I'm going to talk more about spontaneity in times to come, not right now. But right now we are talking about engaging your audience. Yes, I saw someone's hand up and that was Simran. Yes, Simran, please go ahead.
Sir, actually my question is, sir, as I noticed Aman Dhartewal ka jab show tha, and sometimes I also notice it, sir, everything cannot go according to your plan. Sometimes some technical issues or sometimes kuch aise issues ho jate hain that you are on stage and now what to do next? You don't know anything. Now everything, nervousness and all these things start kicking you in and you don't know what to do because aapka paas jo mauka tha, it's like slipping from your hand. You just feel like everything is slipping from your hands. So sir, उस situation में what to do?
What to do? Engage the audience, nothing else to do. You are there for the audience. You have to engage them no matter what. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. I was in the induction once and Pro Chancellor ma'am was sitting in the auditorium. 2200 plus students, parents and teachers all together. So about 3000 people in the auditorium. And I had a collar mic. I had to stand in the center of the stage and I had to do an activity. My collar mic started failing. The battery started dying. And my mic's volume started to go off after every few words. What did I have to do? I used the simplest of tricks that anybody would have used. There were few stage mics kept near, in the center of the stage for the people who were doing drama. I went and stood next to it and I raised my pitch a little bit. And just at the end of the auditorium is the mic room. And that person can clearly see the person on the stage. That's the clearest view of the person on the stage. I looked at him and I tapped my mic while doing the usual thing that I had to do. So he got my cue. And immediately, just in front of the stage, there was a cordless hand mic kept. So while talking to people, I went up, I picked the mic and I continued speaking. But if I would have lost the audience at that moment, can you imagine the kind of ruckus the freshers would have created in the auditorium? Your job is a very responsible job. You have to understand once on the stage, there is nothing that can help, that can tell you to walk back. I'll tell you, if there is no mic also, you should be that loud enough to tell people, am I audible? And the people should say yes. And that is the reason why when we say masters of ceremony, there is not a single anchor every time. There is always a backup. In bigger events, there is always a backup. And that's why there is no master of ceremony, there is masters of ceremony. So if you think you can't handle the situation, immediately look at your replacement and give them a gesture so that they can come and take over. That's something that you have to do. Yes, Devyani Joshi has a question for me. Yes, DJ, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask the ideology behind the idea that people says that you should stop preparing for your content before a couple of minutes before you get on the stage.
I don't prepare one night. One night prior, I stop my preparation. Because beta, if your content is not prepared one night before you are going to present, the next day you are going to be confused. What do I say first? What do I say next? So the flow should be prepared one day prior. Then mentally speak that flow 2, 3, 4 times before you go on the stage. Only then it comes out naturally. Or else what Sriram said in the beginning of the session, sir, the fillers, sir, the lack of words, sir, this, sir, that, all that will happen. Okay. That's the reason we always say that practice before you enter the stage. That's very important. Right. So I've answered your question, Devyani.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Rishabh has a question and then I come to Bignesh Binayak Dhar. All right. Rishabh, first you may go.
Sir, suppose we are anchoring a show, suppose. So our anchoring might be positive for some people and might be blabber for some other peoples. So, sir, the main part is to do the eye contact with all the audience. But the audience which is taking as negative and thinking are anchoring as a blabber. So how to deal with those expressions they will show, because it is more than enough to demotivate us.
That's your place to work, beta. If people are taking your anchoring to be negative, it's feedback, and it's the most truthful feedback that will ever come to you.
Okay, sir.
That means somewhere our preparation is not complete. We are not there with complete preparation.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't be angry with that. Don't be irritated with that. Try to improvise. Now you can't again prepare. You are already on the stage. So improvise. Maybe crack a few jokes, harmless jokes, not satire, not sarcasm. Right? You're not Kapil Sharma that you go and tell something to someone and people will take it in a stride. Sometimes we have to crack a joke on our own self. Right?
Absolutely, sir.
But even if we are cracking a joke on our own self, we have to be careful that it's not sarcastic, it's not satiric, it's harmless. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that is very important. And there will always be someone, I'll give you a very good rule. Thank you, Rishabh, for this question. This is for everyone. Go by the rule of 80-20. There'll always be 20% people in the crowd who will just sit and give you bad looks. Because they are those people, either they are too full of themselves, they think there's no one better than them, or they are those people who don't want to try what you are doing, but will also not let you do it in peace. Okay, so you need to learn to engage those people as much as you can. That's it. You don't need to ignore them also.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome. All right, so I had some more hands and suddenly they went down. What happened? You have a question, guys? Go ahead, please ask. Yes, Bignesh, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. This is Bignesh here. Sir, I have been in not many but few formal occasions when I had to anchor or announce or do that felicitation ceremony. Sir, I am a person who usually keeps to I mind my own business. I don't have much tensions so much. So this makes me a little bit shy, and I speak less. So it means a little less stress for me. Sir, when I used to do those formal stuff, so I used to speak less, and so my teacher told me to speak more, and so I improvised myself to speak fast, and I started sounding nervous. At a point, it was just like I sounded I sounded monotonous. So they removed me from the formal from hosting the formal occasion. So I need to know your views on how to emphasize that voice modulation or that last sound of every word I speak. What are your views on those?
See, the voice modulation is the biggest thing that you should need when you are on an anchoring stage or when you are on public speaking also. Okay. You guys wouldn't know this name that I'm going to just take, but please go and talk to your parents about it. They will know this name. The name is Amin Sayani. Amin Sayani. Go and talk about this to your parents. Ask them, who is Amin Sayani? Most of them would know. He was the first RJ of India. And he used to do it on Akashvani. And if I copy his style or imitate his style right now on this workshop, many of you would realize that yes, you have heard him. जी हाँ भाई और बहनों, आपका स्वागत है आकाशवाणी के प्रोग्राम में. He used to say like this. Impeccable timing of voice modulation. He never used very high-end vocabulary, even if he was speaking in Hindi, because people would not understand bookish Hindi. So he was very good with his way of speaking. So your voice modulation is your bigger weapon than your vocabulary. Please understand. More important than what you say is always how you say it. what you say takes a second place. The first place is how you say it. And if you know the art of how to say it, believe me, there is no one in the world who would ever tell you you're not speaking right. Right? Please keep that thing in mind. So Bignesh, voice modulation is the prime important thing as a tool in your arsenal as an anchor or as a public speaker, both. Right? Yes, now I come to Akshita and then I go to Rishika Avasthi. Yes, Akshita, you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I have a question that if I'm practicing from like if I say 6 7 months and now I needed an event to host to practice my skills so that I get to know that what I was doing in past 6 months is it efficient to perform on the stage. But if I'm not getting any event, so how to get an event? If somehow I mailed some people, some event managers, but I'm not getting any event, so what I have to do?
See, this question, if it was asked to me about 10 years ago, I would have really said, yeah, it's a difficult thing. You don't have to worry about it at all, Akshita. Start your own Instagram live, add a guest to it. Anyone from your maybe faculties, anyone from your friends, anyone who you find inspiring in your known people, and tell them, let's do an Instagram live. I'm going to take your interview. Simple as that.
So I personally think that doesn't give an impact because
Right?
today it's the time LGTVs and lives are not getting views.
Mhm.
How I get to know that my audience are engaged with me.
You will get to know. The number of audience that stay on that live makes the difference. Okay? And I'll be very honest. Nowadays, the audience are more responsive than what they used to be previously because of the power of social media. They know they can comment anything. You can't be doing anything about it. They know they can say anything. I'll tell you very honestly, this is not just for Akshita, but for everyone. I was interviewing Anna Hazare, probably one of the biggest celebrities that one can ever encounter on a live. And people were asking me questions, college kab khulega? And I was like, mentally, my state of mind was like this. Kare bhai, usko sun lo. You're still concerned about the college, can't you listen to him? This was my mental state of mind. But on the camera, I was like, yeah. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, yeah, ji, bilkul sir, aapne bilkul sahi kaha. That's anchoring, right? I did not let my audience go away. I did not let my people know that I'm not liking them, but I'm getting the feedback of my things as well. Why? Because the number of audience on the top right hand corner, I'm getting to see it's increasing, decreasing, then again increasing. So that's my feedback over there. How good is my show going? Because if it is my show, it is going to go according to me, and every feedback that comes from the audience is mine. That's the important part. Okay. So you will get a lot of net practice like this. Yes, Akshita, continue, please.
So if we are hosting an event, we are hosting a different events on different platforms, a different audience for different events. So how we get to know that this audience needs this type of content from me and this type of voice modulation from my side. So how we get to know about the audience viewpoint?
See, Bacha, when you're hosting an event, it's not the type of audience that the anchoring would be depending on. It's on the type of event. Okay. When you're speaking or presenting on the stage, that means you're the presenter, you're the keynote speaker. That time audience and their mood and their age group makes a difference. You understand? Because as an anchor, you are giving the stage, you're preparing the platform for someone to come and shine. Right? So if the event is formal, even if there are school students, it doesn't matter. Because the event is formal, you have to be formal in that. If the event is casual and there are 80-year-old people probably celebrating their second innings, reunion, it's okay. Then it doesn't matter if they are 80 years old. They would want it casual, you go casual on that. right? So it's the type of the event that decides for us what kind of anchoring should be done. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So now I'll come to Rishika. Yes, Rishika, please go ahead. Ask your question.
Sir, I have this habit that whenever I'm speaking, I don't really make eye contact with my audience. Like, I would just look at the farthest wall that is behind my audience because for some reason that just makes me nervous. And if there are friends in my audience, I would just crack up laughing. So, that would definitely impact my performance, right? So, what should I do to improve that?
I told you, you want to not be afraid of looking into people's eyes. Start making a habit you look into your own. If you can control the emotions by looking into your own eyes, dead into your eyeballs, only then people's emotions won't affect you. Do you understand?
Sir, I did not get this point. This is Papu Das here.
Yeah. So, you know, when we sit, I'll give you guys a very good example. This is practically tested by me. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't actually look into your eyes. You look at your face. You will see, oh, I have a mark over here. When did this come? Oh, my nose is so fat. Oh, I've got a pimple here. Oh, my skin tone is fading. I was fairer than this. Your mind is totally distracted. But when you bring your concentration exactly to your eyes and only to your eyes, and you look dead into your eyes, you can see your own pupil expanding and contracting. That's the level of concentration. And that's unbricked. And if you can look at your own eyes, yes, I'm just completing. If you can look into your own eyes and speak what you have to speak, which is here inside, that's the time you get totally unaffected by anyone who's trying to disturb you around you. That should be an anchor's concentration. Right?
So what I usually do is, like, whenever I stand in front of mass or people, I used to take like around 5 to 7 minutes of time. I used to look around the people. I used to look what kind of people, what type of people, what age group of people, what the status of people are available there. So I used to first see them in order to gain the confidence, so that I can speak more, to gain the confidence. So this is what I usually do. And then I take a deep breath and start saying, yeah, well, good morning, and whatever the greetings comes. So this is what I usually do.
That's good. But the fact is, not every time we get that cooling period before the session. Sometimes it's like you've just entered the room, you've kept your bag, and the session was at 5 o'clock. Your class got over at 5 o'clock. You were there at 5:10 in the auditorium, and 5:11 you are told, "Chalo, stage pe, go start the session." You're already 10 minutes late, and you're like, "Eh? I need to breathe." And the organizer says, "There's no time to breathe. Go and start breathing on the stage only." And you're like, "Okay, I'll do it." You don't have a choice, right? So every time we can't take so much of time. Sometimes we actually have to play a T20. You can't be playing like the test match every time. So you have to be very spontaneous and very adaptable as anchors. That's what I would say to everyone. Okay. All right. So now it is Avneet. Avneet, please go ahead. Ask your question.
Yes, sir. Like many of the times we have seen that the anchor is anchoring for the conference, and being on the audience side, when the for the Shanti Devi Mittal Auditorium itself, like when we were the audience and having the conference, we were bored, fully bored, and like 50% of audience get sleep over there. So being on the anchor side, how does it feel, and how to maintain you cannot have an interaction over that particular, because it's a formal kind of session, because it's a conference. So you just need to go on with the flow. So how to this situation?
Whose mic is unmuted? Do I have someone else's mic also? His mic. Oh, that's Harsh. Harsh, could you please? Yeah, it is. Why did you disable? Don't disable anybody's mic. Allow the mic, mute the participant. Thank you, Harsh, for muting yourself. Okay. So, right. So we were talking about when people get bored in a formal session. A formal session, that will always be the case. But as an anchor, you can play smart, and you can keep rejuvenating people by saying, so now that we have had two guests speaking with us and they have shared immense knowledge with all of us, and I'm sure the audience is enjoying and listening to all of it. Guys, you should take notes for this, because we search for such things actually. And since we have the experts here, I would like to take the opportunity and invite the third one here. And I would like you all to put up a huge round of applause, because it takes a lot of passion to come and speak for the topics that they're going to speak with us today. So please show some respect and give a huge round of applause to my next speaker. And automatically people understand the cue that you are giving a sugar coated, wrapped in a satin packing or a satin wrapping paper gift to the audience, that I know you guys are sleeping, but still clap. So they do it because that's the formality, right? So people do agree to it. But on the casual front, people just, they are very casual, and you got to be as casual as that as well. Okay. So
yes. Sachin sir, did I say 5 to 10 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes or seconds? Actually, I mean to say seconds, 5 to 7 seconds.
I got it. I got you. Don't worry about that. I'll be very honest. Sometimes you actually don't get 5 to 7 seconds also, because you enter and you're like, guest aa gaye, guest aa gaye, guest aa gaye. The guests are here. Please go ahead. And you're like, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to welcome the guest over here. And then you're looking, arey, iska naam kya hai? Because you've just come in. You don't even know what you're going to do. What is the thing? And this actually happens with a lot of times. When you're the anchor and due to some reason you're late, it happens with you. And you will actually believe that, the first 10 minutes till the time you have settled down things, you are actually nervous on the stage, on the podium, but you have to hold yourself. Right? Now I have Saubhagya Sinha. Please go ahead, Saubhagya.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Few weeks back, you were telling us that if we have a technical issue between the event and you have to, let the event going. So you've got to raise your voice and engage the maximum number of audience. So, sir, if it is a formal event, wouldn't it be a little triggering, especially for the chief guest or something, to raise your voice or something?
We won't give it to the chief guest at all. And if it's a technical issue in a formal event, you can just first let them feel the commotion around them, and after that you come forward and say, I'm really sorry. And because formal events usually are not too big, they are semi-formal when they become big. Formal events are very secluded events. They are very close-knitted events. Okay, so there will be about 40 guests in a formal event, formal kind of an event. So you tell them, guys, or ladies and gentlemen, my sincere apologies. There is some technical issue and we need just 2 minutes to revive ourselves back. Till the time, I would request if any one of you has anything to talk about or give us an agenda that we should be discussing in this conference or in this thing, we would want you to pass it on in a chit of paper. And I would request that if you have an agenda, please raise a hand. I'll come and collect the chit from you. You can do that. Not a big deal, not a big thing about it. And what you have to do is you just have to come collect that chit and hand it over to the coordinator. Bhaiya, ye tu dekh. This is your baby now. This is what the guest says. You have to handle it. That's what you have to do. Okay. In a semi-formal event, yes, you can raise a voice. This has happened to me not just once, but 2-3 times in different events in different places. And I've raised my voice saying, all right, guys, am I audible to you? And they're like, yes, sir. And I'm like, okay, so you'll have to give us 5 minutes because there's a power cut. My mic's off and I can speak loud, but not everyone can. So give me 5 minutes. And they're like, okay. And then you have a mild chatter going among the people and you have to allow that all. But When they say yes sir, they are connected to you. So the moment the mic comes back and you say, all right guys, so we are back here, and then everybody is going to be looking, turning their faces like sunflower facing the sun. That's going to happen. That's the connect of an anchor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Most welcome, beta. All right. So we are done with the queries. Okay. So now we are here to engage the audience. But my next part, which I am really, really concerned about, or I really, want to share this as a tip, but makes me a little, what can I say? It makes me a little worried, is sense of humor. It's easy to crack a joke, but it's very difficult to see whether the people liked it or not, or whether the people think it's a joke or not. Please don't be the Munawar Faruqis of your show, okay? Please don't be a lame joke cracker, because in every situation you don't have the voice backs which says ha 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 and everybody starts laughing. So it's not a sitcom. When you're on the stage, it's real. You don't have a second shot. It's one shot and it has to go right. So if it's a joke, be very careful about it. No disrespect, no satire, no dark humor, nothing. You want to crack a joke and you want someone to be a subject of it, you are the first one. The first joke has to come on you. And then you ask people, anyone who shares this thing with me, do you share the feeling with me? People will say yes. Right? I'll just give you a small example. It was 2018's induction, and I was doing my part. We had a game, and we were told that 2 people were to be called upon for that game, and I had my student coordinator standing below the stage to put up collar mics and the receiver behind their pockets, in their back pockets. And this gentleman, he was wearing joggers, so he didn't have a back pocket. So my student coordinator didn't know what to do. He just handed him the receiver. So this guy comes up on the stage with a collar mic and the receiver in his hand, and I needed his both hands to be free. I said, "You're holding the receiver?" He said, "Yes." Then how are you going to play the game? And everybody started laughing, and he also started laughing. I said, "I can understand. It's really difficult sometimes to, carry yourself in joggers." And he said, "Yeah, it is." And I could feel him getting uncomfortable. But that very moment I said, "But you look handsome in the joggers, so don't stop wearing it." And I took his receiver, I opened the clip and I put it in his waistband on the stage. And then I said, "Okay, are you ready?" And he said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Are you ready?" "Yes, sir." And then we were back again at it. This is what you have to do. You have to play smart as an anchor. Sense of humor is good, but harmless. Harmless sense of humor has to be there. You will never try to crack a joke on someone. Avoid any kind of political jokes these days. This is a serious no-no. Right? You never know who takes what kind of jokes badly. So no political jokes, no thought process based jokes, simple jokes. Okay? And you want to crack a joke, if you have a partner anchoring with you, crack a joke on each other. That's easy. Nobody will feel bad about it. Right? I would share a recent one. When the unlock happened, I went to one of the there was a small gathering somewhere. I was a guest over there. I was one of the participants. So there someone was someone was cracking a joke. So they had this ceremony of putting tikas on our head before we entered there, and it's okay. So everybody has their way of welcoming. So the anchor amongst themselves only said, यार ये टीका लगाया ना, मुझे तो ऐसा लगा अभी आगे जाके घंटी भी बजानी है. And there was someone who got offended. Someone in the party actually got offended. And they said, so what? Are you ashamed of your culture? He said, no, sir, I'm not saying that. He said, then why are you talking about this? And it was difficult for the anchor to handle. That was a very embarrassing situation for that anchor. They tried to handle it very well, but once things go haywire, they go haywire. It is not easy to bring it back. So be very careful about what kind of jokes you crack. Yes, there should be a little bit of sense of humor. Like you're even when you're doing a formal set of event, and from one speaker to another, you just tell them, so before inviting you on the stage, I would just make sure that no one's sleeping or no one's going out of the auditorium. Is anybody going out? No. Sir, are you ready to please come on the stage? So before I invite you, guys, can we have the loudest round of applause for sir over here to please join us on the stage? And I would request Mr. This to come on the stage now. A light, harmless joke can work. Right? That's very easy. That's very important. And a little bit of sense of humor should be there. Like I'll just give you a small example. I was hosting an Udyog Milan for LPU just a few days ago. Chancellor sir was also there. So the chief guest, while giving his address, said, I was fairly surprised, and he said it in Punjabi. I'll translate it for you later. He said, मैं तो डर गया सी, मेरी अद्धी speech तो आ मुंडा बोल गया. He was pretty senior in age, about 80 years. And he pointed at me and he said, मेरी आधी speech तो ये बोल गया, that half of my speech was spoken by this guy in the welcome note itself. And everybody started laughing. And I also laughed. I was sitting behind the stage. I also laughed. But when he stopped speaking, I said, sir, I'm really sorry if I took your points. And my hands were like this. Sir, I'm really sorry if I took your points. But they were just the agenda, sir. And you are right on the agenda. And I must say, even not speaking completely what you have brought in, I'm very sure you would have brought a huge treasure of knowledge for us in those papers. And he was like, yes. He was smiling and everybody was smiling. A light moment was shared. And while he left the auditorium, while going, he said, he came to me, he patted my back and said, Bura mat manna. I said, sir, nahi, please, you're too senior to me. Please don't worry about it. These are things that create your legacy or your identity in the eyes of the people who were on the stage as dignitaries. That's what you have to do. All right. So please keep that in mind and be very careful about things like these because they are not very easy. And I'm going to stop the workshop right here. Tomorrow we are going to talk after these things. What are the rest of the things? I'm going to talk about it tomorrow with you people. I'm not going to discuss it today because tomorrow I'm going to talk about what you're going to do on the stage. I've started it with sense of humor today, but tomorrow I'm going to take it in a deeper insight. And I would love to have the questions tomorrow as well. Please let your questions flow. I love the questions in the middle of the session. There'll never be a chance I'll say we'll talk about it at the end of it. I'll talk it wherever you wanted to. All right. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you have had a great time with the session. I'm going to rest my speech here and I'm going to hand it over to Manan again. Manan, over to you. Please take over.
Thank you very much, sir, for this enlightening session. I learned a lot of things and I made notes. That's a thing that I'm going to share with everyone whosoever could not get in. And this particular session reminded me of the lectures that we have. It was a wholesome, whole semester, the things that we learned. I think I got the summary of it right here into this session. So it was amazing. And I really miss the classes that you used to give us. So that's something about me. And yeah, so it was a wonderful session, sir. I learned a lot of things, and I would like to tell some things to my audience that I was in that Mr. Anna Hazare's session with when sir was speaking. So there was Akhil sir also, and he complimented sir on his Hindi also. So he was saying that sir, you have great vocabulary in Hindi, and I was like, yeah, that's really true. Like he has command on English in the every language in which he speaks, and also like sir, I've seen you in sessions with other language also. Like when I think Sridhar Chaudhary and others were there, you spoke in Marathi and Bengali and sometimes, yeah. So that these are some things like, that I love and cherish about like when you speak and when you do public speaking. So yeah, so that was like, I hope that everyone enjoyed the session, and it was great, and it will be continued tomorrow also. So that will be
Yes.
a great thing. Like yeah, and right now
Indeed, it was great, Manan. Indeed, it was good because we actually felt the vibe of that anchoring, the art of speaking. Because you see, Sir cited an example of a quote which was told by Mark Twain. Sir, note that someone would ask that question, but Sir might not know at what instant that question would arise. That's the spontaneity. And every point Sir told about the subtle humor, when some lady, Divyani Joshi, I guess, when she started asking questions, Sir cracked a subtle humor thing, ki DJ. That makes a little bit of smile on our face. This type of things, what actually Sir told in the presentation, or Sir showed us, is actually practical. Sir, I mean, yeah, it was indeed a great session, sir. I enjoyed it a lot personally.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so at last, I would request everyone, a feedback form will be circulated to the respective groups in which you guys are added, and you have to fill this form and tell us how you felt about the session, and we'd love to have your feedback. And it is also like Sachin sir would also say that feedback is also important, so it's a part of answering also.
Feedback is the most important. And on that note, we'll take a break over here from today's session, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Same link works tomorrow as well. And ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow also, I would want you to come with your loaded guns of questions. And don't worry, I'll have the shields and bullets back to you with the answers. Thank you so much, and have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Sir, just one more thing. We would like to take a
Thank you,
picture
sir.
with you.
Yes, you want to what?
Yeah, we'd like to take a picture with everyone. If everyone would keep their cameras on, it would be great. We'd love to have a.
I'm not sure about cameras, but our participants and the members who in the room are really, I mean, interactive. Every one of them came forward and asked the questions. They solved their queries. This type of zeal and enthusiasm are required.
Definitely, definitely. As many people as you can, please switch on your cameras.
Yeah.
This is special.
Okay, I'll wait for another 30 seconds. Please, guys, turn on your camera. It will be great to see your lovely faces, and we'll take a screenshot quickly.
Instagram lovers would take a boomerangs.
Yeah, please do. You're free to do to record it for a reel only. Okay, we have a pretty good number. We'll take a screenshot. Everybody say cheese. Okay, let's wait some more seconds. Again, guys, cheese. Okay, we are done. Thank you everyone for coming here, and I would like to conclude it with this. And yeah, you guys can leave, and it was nice to have you as an interactive audience. Thank you, sir.
All right, so good night, everyone.
Good night,
So much,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you
Good
so
night,
much.
sir. Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night,
God
sir.
bless
Thank
everyone.
you.